Welcome back everyone to video number 3 on our course on relationship, this free short course that we're putting on. We've spoken so far about our relationship with being alone, our relationship with friends, family, significant other. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit more close to home, or we feel like it's close to home, and that's our relationship to our thoughts. So I'm going to throw it over to you first, Matt. Where do people get caught up with their relationship to this voice up here that doesn't seem to shut the hell up?
A lot of the time, there is no relationship with it. We're just following it. We are it. It's not until we become aware of our thinking that we actually are, like a duality sort of takes place where we can have a relationship to this thought stream. But so a lot of the time we're just playing out these patterns over and over and over again. And so the first topic in this is overthinking, and I think this is a massive problem. It's not just a specific group of people. I think everyone suffers from overthinking. Yeah. Everyone's just overthinking about money, overthinking about the kids home, like what they're going to do for school, and overthinking this, overthinking that. It's just continuous. It's 4 a.m. and you've got to worry about this problem, that problem, and this problem. And overthinking, what I've concluded is that it's an avoidance mechanism to keep us safe from feeling the feelings of what's happening. We might be experiencing fear, we might be experiencing pain, we might be experiencing grief or whatever. And what happens is we go up into interpreting the moment, judging, labeling, conceptualizing all these things as a way to not experience the moment. Yeah, so we go off into the past and future as a way to avoid experiencing this moment.
Yeah.
So our relationship with our thoughts, it's such a broad topic. We could do a whole course just on this. But overthinking, it's an addiction. It's like that compulsive need to think and label and judge and conceptualize and all of that, and then we end up living in that world.
Yeah,
the world of conceptualization.
Yeah, I think if you were to really grasp that idea, and just that's the one thing you took away from this whole course about how we don't have a relationship with our thoughts because we just are them, then you're going to be in a much better place, because we're stuck to these thoughts and we just think they're us. And it's not till we get some, because what happens, you're exactly right, we have a disturbance in our emotional body that we feel uncomfortable and we feel like we can't handle it. So then the mind says, let me sort this out. And the mind tries to dull down that feeling so we don't feel as bad. So the overthinking is actually, it's trying to do the right job for us and help us out, but it's just going about it in the wrong way. So that's why we play out certain scenarios. Say if I have an interaction with a person and in my opinion, it didn't go well, so I feel some sort of shame or guilt or whatever it was. That's when the mind starts to play out, oh, well, I should have said that, and why did I say that? And in the future, I'll say this. It's all in an attempt to try and make us just feel a little bit better, as opposed to us just being able to completely sit with a feeling of guilt and let it move through our system, which we'll get more into because the next module is on our relationship to our feelings and our emotions. But that's what the mind is doing. And we also gave the mind an impossible task when we were younger. We didn't do it consciously, but we gave it the task of, everyone's got to love me, no one's got to not like me, I always have to say the right thing, I can never say the wrong thing, I need to be perfect. And the mind goes, fuck, all right, I'll try. And so it just goes crazy trying to create these scenarios in our life that fits all these categories. And it's an impossible task. So no wonder it doesn't shut the hell up.
And that's exactly it. And that's what overthinking comes from. And we know, because I just through watching my own experience, aspiring into my own experience, my mind always gets noisier when a wound gets activated. When there's some sort of emotional pain, it's like you said, something goes wrong with someone or someone says something and it'll trigger something, because I've been investigating my experience for years now. And it's sort of the mind will just go, cogs will start turning quicker, and it's about trying to save us from experiencing that. But the next topic's coming down in here, but are coming down into these feelings instead of going off into conceptualizing.
And then it'll be funny because then people will say in that scenario, my mind is driving me crazy. right? That's when people start getting a lot of anxiety and they say, I just can't shut this thing up. And it's like, well, just take that sentence that you've just said is so deep and so powerful, and a lot of people don't recognize that. It's like my mind, right? So it's my mind. I'm in relationship with it. Is driving me crazy. All right. Well, if your mind's driving you crazy, who's you? Because you've just said that you're not your mind, and people say this very unconsciously, but it's very, very important to analyze. And we can get into that in a different video, but at least that sentence says, okay, I'm whatever I am, I'm over here, and my mind is doing this to me at this moment. And the mind, if you think of mind is something that exists in the universe that generates thoughts. So thoughts are a certain, vibration, they're a certain form, and the mind just keeps generating these. It's like an appliance. It's like, I've programmed my toaster to cook the toast to this degree. My mind just creates thoughts, and we have some control over it. We can insert our will into the mind. So if we were to say, say hello inside your head over and over again, you'd be like, okay, I'm doing it. Okay, I can do that. But 95, probably more % of our thoughts are just self-generated. We're not doing it. Just things happen and then bang, this pops up. Someone's wearing a sweater that, your uncle who was abusive wore when you were younger, bang, that comes up. All of a sudden there's something that you said stupid in your past comes up. And people beat themselves up for having these thoughts when you can't control them coming up.
No, you can't. And this is a good place to move into false positivity, because that's what we end up doing is, we can sort of say, all right, I can instigate a thought there. What can happen is we can create this layer of positivity or positive thoughts that sound positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good enough, I'm this, I'm that. Up here, this little smidgen of positivity that covers up this deep mass of unconscious pain. And I see, I call that overcompensation. Because we're overcompensating for a deeper sense of lack, pain. That false positivity, it's a way of bypassing our experience. And if we go back to, overthinking being a survival mechanism that keeps us safe from experiencing our pain, this false positivity is that same thing with a different face. It's a survival instinct that keeps us safe from experiencing our pain. I'm going to pretend I'm positive when really I have layers of deep pain. And I know people that, I would say this to them, they would think they're pretty positive, and the pain's so unconscious that they wouldn't even know that they're doing that. So there's no blame or anything. I suppose this short course is just about pointing and bringing awareness to things that you may or may not be doing.
Yeah, and so I would, as a little task, put this in the questions. I like to have people, if they're using some sort of positive affirmation or something like that, use it in a way that's going to uncover any pain that's there. Because often if we sit there and really, just get quiet for a moment and say I'm about to go inwards and do a bit of work, and I state something like, I'm really confident, or I am good enough, or, I'm worthy of love, and we state that, and if we get really still, we'll start to see what happens internally. Now, a lot of people might say, I'm worthy of love, and then bang, all of a sudden a memory will pop up to show them, no, you're not. or you'll start to get this visceral feeling like, no, you're not. But most people don't get curious about that and just keep saying, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, and keep pushing forward as a way to cope without really becoming conscious of whether they really feel worthy of love. And not many people do, to be honest.
That's right. That's what we call the reverse inquiry.
Yep.
So it's like dropping a stone. We say a statement. It's like dropping a stone down into the unconscious to watch what splashes up. To bring what caused bullshit to the surface.
Yeah.
So if I say I'm good enough, something I that, it means unconsciously there's something saying bullshit, and I could just be saying I'm not. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough as a way of keeping that at bay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very, very powerful technique. I love it. And the last one, we've already really covered it, but identification. This is like we said, when we're not aware that there's us and the mind, and there's a relationship there, and we're fully identified, then we believe every thought's us. We just keep acting on momentum after thought, after thought, after thought, and there's no real awareness there. So I think that the main takeaway from this video is breaking that identification and starting to look at our mind more curiously. We don't have to start looking at it judgmentally all the time, because that's just more mind judging mind, but just very curiously watching what our mind is doing and our relationship with our thoughts. And starting to improve that relationship will be very, very powerful. So that is it for module number 3, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you all on the next video.